What's up, my fellow football fans? I'm super excited because this weekend we're going to get two fantastic football matches. In fact, I would argue this is going to be the biggest weekend until the World Cup next year. I mean, this is a huge weekend for football. And really, until we get to the weekend of the World Cup final next year, we're not going to get anything quite as big as this. So I'm super excited. It's a fantastic weekend for sports, to be honest with you, because we're going to get the Wimbledon finals on Saturday and Sunday. I don't know if you guys like MMA, but we're going to get the Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier fight as well, the UFC fight on Saturday night. But really, the big thing for me, obviously, and this is the football channel. I'm excited about the fantastic final of the Copa America, Brazil, Argentina, and obviously the Euro Cup final the day after. I'm going to do a separate video for each of those two finals, but in this first video that I'm recording, I want to talk a little bit about Brazil and Argentina. And if you look behind me, well, you can probably guess this is not the real thing, but this is an image of the Maracanã Stadium. I would like to go watch the match in person. I was actually born in Rio, so it's my hometown. In a sense, I grew up in Lisbon, but I actually live in the United States. I won't be able to make it, but not even the people who are living in Brazil and who are in Rio right now can make it to the game because of the COVID precautions. The game will be played without a public, and that's the first thing that I want to talk about the game. In theory, this is a home match for Brazil, but it's not really a home match. In all fairness, Argentina are just going to have the same chances as Brazil in terms of, or the same kind of like situation as Brazil, because really there will be no home crowd, and that would be the big difference, to have the home crowd, almost 100,000 people. I don't know what the capacity of the Maracanã is right now. At its peak in 1950 against Uruguay, there were 250,000 Brazilians watching that game, that final, which obviously Brazil unfortunately lost. It's a dark day in Brazilian footballing history, but there were about 250,000 people in the stadium. Since then, obviously, you have to have more security precautions, so you can't have that many people like crammed together in the stadium anymore. But I think it's still almost 100,000 people. That would be a huge advantage for Brazil, which I don't think that's going to happen in this case. I think both teams are, without public. It's going to take place in Brazil, but it's really a neutral game, and that's the only thing that is good about not having crowd there. I mean, it would fit the occasion to have all the home fans in the Maracanã cheering for the national team, and it would give the occasion the momentum that it should have, and the sense of occasion that it deserves. But unfortunately, with COVID, it's even surprising we're getting the Copa America at all. It was really a last minute decision to take it to Brazil, and that the fact that we're even getting this game is kind of surprising. But we are getting the game, so no home advantage for Brazil. Now, let me share my screen with you guys. And I just want to look at the lineups very quickly here of Brazil against Peru, which was the last game. And then I'm going to look at the Argentina team as well. Gabriel Jesus is not going to be available for the final because of his suspension, because of that red card. And some players, especially Neymar, are saying that it wasn't a fair suspension. I mean, come on, that was a very red card. Even as someone, who's a little bit biased, perhaps in this case, because I'm cheering for Brazil, I gotta admit, that was a very red card, that the one that Gabriel Jesus got against Chile. So no Gabriel Jesus. I think the team will probably be very similar. This is close to the best Brazilian team that can be really fielded by the manager at this point. We have Ederson, Danilo, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, and Lodi. This is almost certainly going to be the starting setup for defense, Casemiro and Fred. I don't really see much of a chance of changes there. And then in attack, maybe we'll get a chance or two. Obviously, Neymar, he's the big name here. He'll be starting. I think Lucas Paqueta he wasn't necessarily a starter before, but he's been excellent in these knockout matches. So I think he will be the starter. I also think Richarlison is going to start, especially because there is no Gabriel Jesus as the number 9, especially, and if this tactic is maintained, I think Everton or perhaps even Vinicius could be an option, or Firmino. We have the other Everton Ribeiro could be a starter as well. So that would be, I think, that last man in the setup of four offensive players. I think that's a little bit up for grabs, especially Firmino could easily come in. Also, Vinicius, Everton, Ribeiro, like I said, but so it's hard to say, but I think Everton probably starts. Now, this is a fantastic team. It's a very well balanced team. I think the defense is actually extremely strong. It's not easy to score against this Brazil team. The midfield is pretty good. This is not the Brazil of 94, or especially 98 or 2002, or even 2006, which was a collection of stars. This is a little bit more modest. This is a more modest version of Brazil, but it's still a very well balanced team, the one that we're getting in this Copa America. Now, Argentina, the way they start against Colombia, 4-3-3. I'm guessing they're going to go with a very similar team as well. Martinez was actually the big star against Colombia, especially because of the penalty shootout. They'll have Molina, Petzela, Otamendi, Tagliafico, De Paul, Lo Celso, almost certainly going to start. Rodriguez, Messi, the big star, and then maybe the biggest doubt is, are we going to see Nico Gonzalez and Lautaro Martinez? Are they going to start? I'm thinking that Lautaro Martinez is going to start ahead of Agüero again. Di Maria looked pretty good when he came in against Colombia, so I wouldn't be entirely surprised if he starts the final. Messi, Martinez, Lautaro Martinez, and Di Maria. I wouldn't be surprised about that. I don't expect any other big changes. Agüero, I don't think he'll start ahead of Lautaro Martinez. He could, but I don't think so, because Lautaro Martinez had also scored in the last game, so he's performing well, even though he missed a pretty glaring chance that could have won the game for Argentina, and they wouldn't have had to go to the penalty shootouts. In any case, two very good teams. I mean, these are two very good teams. These are not the best Brazil team and Argentina team that I've seen, especially Brazil team, but they're very balanced teams, especially Brazil, and Argentina has Messi. I think that's the biggest differential. Brazil is actually a very good team, very well balanced, and they have an outstanding player, Neymar, who's the leader of the team, who drives the attack. Argentina, a little bit less balanced, and perhaps not quite as good. If you look at the defense, the midfield, it's not quite as good a team as Brazil. They have a very good attack, though, probably even better than Brazil. But really, the standout factor there is Messi. And as good as Neymar is, he's no Messi. And Messi has been, on top of that, I mean, Messi has been absolutely outstanding in this Copa America. He's playing his best football. He seems extremely comfortable and motivated. And he's really the driving force, obviously, for this Argentina. And he's been, when Messi is at his best, it's very difficult to stop Messi. And Colombia almost did it. So don't get me wrong. I mean, I actually think that Brazil are the favorites here, but I think it's basically a Brazil with a great Neymar versus a good Argentina, but with an amazing superlative Messi, who probably, in my opinion, I mean, maybe the best player of all time. Even though it's hard to compare generations, I think Messi is certainly the best player of his generation. Now, if you compare him to players from the past, like Pelé, like Maradona, like Cruyff, like even Zidane or Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, I think it's hard to make that comparison, because they didn't play during the same era. But Messi, I mean, he's something else. and I think he will be very important for Argentina, obviously. Now, this is a huge occasion for both Brazil and Argentina. This would be the 10th time that Brazil wins the Copa America, and for Argentina, it will be the 15th time that they win the Copa America. But I think it's actually more important for Argentina. And the big reason is that they've lost a bunch of finals in a row. And even Messi has lost a bunch of finals in a row. They haven't won a tournament, I believe, since 1993, even though they've played a number of finals. This will be the fifth final for Messi. And this is well documented. Everybody knows about this. But I think this will potentially be a problem for Argentina. It'll go one of two ways. Either they're going to be, including Messi, especially Messi, he'll be super motivated to win this final, and that will drive him to have a fantastic performance, which is what we've seen so far in this world, in this Copa America. Or it'll be too much pressure, the knowledge that, they've lost now 4 finals. Messi has lost 4 finals in a row, 1 World Cup and 3 Copa Americas, and this will be his 5th final. And maybe it will be too much pressure to handle. I don't know. I do know that Messi is a competitor. We haven't really seen him fold before, crumble before. So I do think that he'll be very motivated. He'll try to win the game. I think actually the biggest question will be, will the rest of the team be up for it? Will the supporting cast be able to do their job against a team like Brazil, who are not necessarily getting a lot from the fact that they're playing at home, like I said in the beginning, but they are the better team, I think, of the two. They've also shown it throughout the tournament. I mean, Argentina has been good. They've been the second best team, but Brazil, they have been, I would say, even by far the best team in the tournament. They have the best record. And so I would still, I think that Argentina certainly has a chance with Messi, but I think overall, this is, I think Brazil is going to win their 10th Copa America. And unfortunately for Messi, I think he's going to lose his 5th final for Argentina. And just the last thought is, this might be the last chance for Messi. I don't know how well they will do in the World Cup, but this is an actual final. Obviously, unless something really weird happens, Messi will be in the World Cup and he will be leading Argentina. But the World Cup is a whole different story, and it's very hard to reach the final of a World Cup. So chances are this is the last final that Argentina will play with Messi in the team, and this is really his last chance that he will have to win a major title for Argentina with the Argentina first team. He's won the Olympics before, but it's not quite the senior national team. So big occasion for Messi, and overall a game that I'm super excited to watch. It's the Super Clásico of the Americas, the 2 best team in the Americas, and it should be a fantastic game, even though there's no crowd.